Yeah, I might need to put a trigger warning on this mug because I'm gonna ruffle a couple of feathers. I'm gonna definitely step on some toes, but sorry, babe. Not sorry. Let's get into it. Greetings, salutations, and welcome or welcome back to S.L.I.M Academy. Shout out to you if you did attend the commencement ceremony. Are y'all ready to get into this? Because let me just go ahead and tell you, the outfit definitely correlates with the lesson for today. I'm excited because I'm about to drop some gems on you. Now, before we get into it, I want to give you guys a quick debrief of what we're going to do today and how we're going to do it, okay? I'm taking y'all way back. Elementary school, the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, and why. That is the game plan because your girl got ADHD and she be getting sidetracked sometimes. ADHD, ADD, whatever you want to call it. And I got my notes here. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my outline, okay? And while I'm looking down, you check out this eye makeup, because yeah, it's giving. It's giving, and you know it is. But anyway, we're gonna go over the what, which is what is transmutation. We're gonna get into the etymology. Now I'm gonna do etymology for every single lesson because I feel like that is very importante. We're gonna go over the stages of transmutation. After that, we're gonna go over the when, as in like, when does transmutation usually happen? And then we're gonna hit up that why, which is why is it important? Because it's very important. I would hope that you would want to transmute at some point in your life because that's how you level up. And then we're gonna get into the how, aka how to do it. How is it beneficial to you? And then we're gonna top it all off with a nice little quote. It's gonna be our cherry on top, but I'm gonna throw a couple quotes in there, you know, because I don't want y'all to think I'm talking out the side of my neck, because I ain't even that type. I come with facts. Factual. So without further ado, let's do it. What is transmutation? Transmutation is the action of changing or the state of being changed into another form, aka metamorphosis. But in philosophical terms, it's called the magnum opus or the philosopher's stone. Now, the etymology of transmutation, of course, is Latin, late 14th century, because dang near every English word that we use is derived from Latin. Latin is the OG language, the OG of all OGs, triple OG, double OG. You get what I'm saying? I know you do, because you're smart. Funny enough is that transmutation theology came before the alchemy. And in layman's terms, what came first, God or science? And I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. You just gotta do your own research on it. The stages of transmutation. Starting out with Carl Jung, because we gotta get that man his props. Him and Sigmund Freud. I know Freud gets a lot of pushback in the psychological community, but I feel like a hit dog gon' holler. So that's why a lot of people be looking at Freud sideways. But then you look at society, you just be like, I mean, he wasn't lying. Like, I bet Freud is in his grave right now, sounding like Nicki.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking lie?
And if you don't know who Carl Jung is a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who is responsible for developing analytical psychology. Yeah. Also known for Jungian philosophy. You might know a little bit about that too. The 4 stages of transmutation. Stage 1 is Negredo. Stage 2 is Albedo. Stage 3 is Citrinatus. And stage 4 is Rubedo. Like I said, a hit dog gon' holler, so it's gonna be a couple of y'all hollering, but I don't care. Just know that I'm doing it out of love. Stage 1, Negredo. Now, can you take a guess in what Negredo means? Say it. Negredo. What does that sound like? That's what I mean when I say that dang near every word in the English language is derived from Latin. Because Negredo literally means blackness. So if you ain't caught the gist by now, you probably just ain't gonna get it because I'm not gonna say it. We have class here over here at S.L.I M Academy. You're attending class, so you're going to have some class and some coof about yourself. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. This is also formerly known, and I know you probably heard of this, the dark night of the soul. Well, we done tussled quite a few times. We ain't no strangers. We not strangers. We're actually very well acquainted. We so toxic. We done been together a few times. And I'm pretty sure this won't be the last. And that's fine, because he's only here to help me grow. Even though he gets on my nerves. But anyway, now Negredo in the alchemic term is a process of putrefaction or decomposition, also referred to as mental negativity. Negredo is a state of unawareness, living unconsciously, and you're only visible on the outside. And what I mean when I say by being visible only on the outside is like when you see a bad girl in a club and she bad, or you see a fine dude hanging over there in the corner, but he or she got this look on their face. It's just like, don't talk to me, don't approach me, don't look at me. In their mind, they're like, yeah, that's what I mean when I say you're only visible on the outside. You can't see yourself, but others can. The latter stages involve spiritual death, disillusionment, and personal development. Now, this stage is known for shadow work. This is a great time to be working on yourself, because when you really hit that dark night of the soul, you need to go inward. You know what I mean? Like, look inside yourself. Why is nobody approaching me? How come nobody's doing this and doing that? Have you seen yourself? You need to do some internal reconstruction. That's a good way to put it. Some internal reconstruction. Now, spiritual death, I know that might sound like a really scary term, but honestly, it's not. Because when you're going through spiritual death, you're shedding, because Negredo and like putrefaction means like to burn it down. You know, you're burning it down, like, babes. Your ego? What ego? What fucking ego? Because your ego is gonna get shaken up like a martini. That's what it means, you know, when you say disillusionment. Like, the illusions about yourself tend to fall away. Back to that girl in the club. If somebody was to hold a mirror up to her face and she could see how she was looking, she would be like, oh, I didn't know. Like, okay, my bad. Let me fix my posture. Let me dust myself off. Let me touch on my lip gloss. Let me fix my lashes. You can't really see what's going on because you're in this illusion. You've coveted your mind into thinking that you're sitting like this, but you're not. I mean, you giving 10 cans to bounce that ass on your face. Also, in this stage, you're gonna experience a lot of growing pains. Dark Night of the Soul is not fun, because not only are you shedding the illusion about yourself, but you also lose a lot of things. And I don't want you to look at it as you're losing things. Think of it as you're ranking up. And in order for you to level up, You can't bring Shanita, Takesha drinking, smoking, bouncing that ass in the club every night with you. You can't rank up with old things. You have to drop the old in order to move into the new. And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people. This is why a lot of people are constantly in the dark night of the soul, because they're not willing to let go of the things that don't serve them anymore. Babe, it hurts. Me personally, when I first started going through Dark Night of the Soul, I did not like that mother. I did not like Dark Night of the Soul because I used to be like,
Why do we keep doing that? Like, it's going this way. Like, no, I'm fucking trying to straighten it down. This shit keep going like, whoop, like, no, go do. What the fuck?
because I had to change my perspective. Instead of me constantly saying, oh, I'm losing this. You're right, I am. But I'm gaining this because I had to let this go. You cannot drag the old with you into the new. It's gonna weigh you down, period, point blank. Another thing about Dark Night of the Soul is a main reason why people are very uncomfortable with it is because they're comfortable. Yeah. And you can't grow when you're comfortable. Complacency and comfortability is a disease. It's an infection to your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and your heart. Because once you get comfortable, you become complacent. And once you become complacent, you become stagnant. And when you become stagnant, you get stuck. Okay? When life sends you your dark night of the soul, they're there for a reason. Do that internal reconstruction, because I promise you, in the end, you're gonna be so glad you did. Just trust the process, okay? Moving on into stage 2, phase 2, albedo. Congratulations, you've made it out of the dark night of the soul. Y'all done broke up for a little bit. Now it's time for you to heal yourself. After that breakup, it's also a good time for you to reevaluate. Maybe look at some of the choices you made and why you made those decisions. Sometimes you're gonna have to call yourself out because Lord knows I've had to. You know what? I got one word for that. Accountability. Yeah. When you have to hold yourself accountable, it makes you uncomfortable too, but that's okay. Because that means you made progress. You're able to hold yourself accountable. I'm proud of you. Can you take a gander in what albedo means? What does it sound like? Albedo, albino, yeah. This is why I want to establish you guys with understanding language. I know you understand what I'm saying.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
But do you understand the words that's coming out of my mouth? Plus, when you develop a better sense of language, it's like your mind becomes a natural dictionary. Most words are just enmeshments of little words put together. Knowledge is power, baby. It's something nobody can ever take away from you. So make sure you gift it to yourself. Yeah? All right. Albedo. The alchemic term is the fraction of sunlight that is diffusely reflected by a body. I know. When I first read that, I was like, what does that mean? I didn't even know what it meant. What is diffuse reflection? Diffuse reflection is the reflection of lights or other waves or particles from a surface that is scattered at many angles rather than just one.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I know. I was still lost too. This is why I did the research, so that I could regurgitate this information to you so that you can understand it. Because babes, I was lost. I had to read that like a few times. I had that light bulb moment. Here's a great analogy, because albedo is actually the part of transmutation where you begin to recognize the ego. Once you start realizing that a majority of things that you do, a majority of the decisions that you make is out of your ego, I can guarantee you'll look back at past situations like, I really did that? I ain't even have to do that. Man, that shit wasn't even necessary. I ain't even have to take that route. but because I was in my ego, you know, a small disclaimer. The goal is to not get rid of your ego. It's to be able to recognize it. Don't get so caught up on the whole paddy wagon or the bandwagon of, oh, you must get rid of your ego. No, your job is to recognize it. And of course, you need to make some tweaks and some changes, but don't totally get rid of the ego because it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. I don't like the fact that some of the spiritual community is like, oh my God, you need to get rid of your ego. No, babes. You need to make friends with it so you can keep that hoe in check.
Where was your antennas when them niggas was stealing my shit out the stove?
I didn't see him take anything.
You didn't see him take anything? Well, look next time. Use your eyes. They ain't supposed to just be hazel. They're supposed to do some goddamn work around here. This ain't for play. I don't do this for fun.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, ho. Be careful. Lord, gee, well, you know what? I'm tired of your presence. Dismissed.
Yeah. I want you to imagine that there is a mirror. You have a mirror, okay? And you have a flashlight. So you got a mirror and a flashlight and you're in a dark room. You can't see nothing. You're holding this mirror, but imagine you're only holding this mirror like this. And you're in a box and this is your flashlight. And the flashlight is going to represent your ability to recognize your ego. And the mirror is your ego. If your ego is like this, you're only going to be able to illuminate this side of the room. But as you move the mirror, turn it, flip it, anyway, say you lay the mirror flat and you hold that flashlight. Now you're able to illuminate any part of the room. Why? Because when you lay it flat out, you can adjust at any angle. But when the mirror is like this, or it's only like this, everything else on whatever side of the room is going to remain dark. So I need you to be able to lay that mirror on a flat surface so that you can illuminate the entire room, aka your soul. You see how I broke that down? And here's the gag. I didn't get that from nobody. I came up with that mirror and flashlight analogy just for y'all. Don't you love me? Tell me you love me. I know you do. I love you too. The ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. The ego is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and unconscious. I, me. Not we. Pause. The ego is usually like a lot of I statements or a lot of me, myself, and I, but not necessarily in a good way. Like I said, it's not bad. The ego is not a bad thing. It's just learning how to recognize it and learning how to make conscious decisions, but not based out of your ego. Sometimes the ego be getting carried away. Albedo is the purification stage, washing away of your limiting beliefs, you regaining your purity, connecting with that inner child of yours, becoming more receptive, the awakening of a new mindset. The ego is essentially just like a defense mechanism against, your old beliefs. You begin to conceptualize a lot of things. You're beginning to form new concepts. You're beginning to realize that you're more than your ego. It's like you start viewing life through new eyes. It comes from beliefs that were put onto you while you were growing up. And it's like when somebody challenges a belief that you were so steadfast in, it's like you get offended. Now this is typically like the shift in your consciousness and your awareness happens. Recognizing certain parts of your ego that has to go. Certain beliefs that you have will keep you stuck. And that's not good. Then you begin to recognize what energy you're operating out of. Like your masculine and your feminine energy. And let's take a quick sidebar to talk about that. I'm sick of the slander on masculine and feminine energy because people don't understand it. So let me break it down for you, okay? Your anima and your animus. The anima is the feminine unconscious in a man. And your animus is the contrary, okay? the masculine unconscious in a woman. Now, like I said, these are energies, okay? And energy cannot be created nor destroyed. The goal is to obtain balance between the two. Anima, aka the feminine traits, is patient, compassionate, tender, nurturing, loving, intuitive, life-giving, or for the men, giving life, breathing life, you know what I'm saying? And considerate and emotional. On the opposite side, aka the negative aspect of the anima traits, moody, uncertain, have a hard time making decisions, you're not so sure about yourself, vain, you can be very catty, insecure, and hypersensitive. Animus, which is the masculine energy, represents the masculine energy. You're logical, you're assertive, you're more thoughtful, you're more rational, you come off a lot more powerful. You show up as a strong leader, you're honorable, and you're very wise. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, you can be ruthless, overtly opinionated.
I don't care how nice you are, but you're 33 years old.
Yeah.
How many men have If I get a 19-year-old girl, I might be your second or third man, right? I'm gonna be dude number fucking 29, and all the trauma and heartbreak and bullshit they put you through, you're gonna try and bring to my door? Like, well, my last man cheated, I don't give a fuck.
Who the fuck is this nigga, bro?
Destructive, brutal, reckless, and cold. And also, this masculine and feminine energy thing right here, when you meet a man that's operating in his feminine energy, now, like I said, there's a healthy balance, but there's also, you can also be too far on one side of the spectrum, positive or negative. Now, when you meet an overtly feminine energy type male, he's gonna be the kind of guy that's like hypersensitive. He's gonna be catty. Like, I ain't saying he like, but it's definitely giving like he likes the gossip. He's very insecure with himself. And a man that's like, believe it or not, when a man has plenty hoes, that man is insecure. Oh yeah, I stepped on your toes just now, didn't I? I know I did. I told you I was gonna do that. But I don't care because I love you. If he got plenty hoes, he's insecure with himself. That is a man with not a lot of self-worth, believe it or not. Because why do you feel the need to want to share your body with everybody? Same thing for girls. She is somebody with low self-worth. She's like, oh, I can get any man I want. Babes, you shouldn't want that. To be honest, the amount of self-worth that you have for yourself, you're like, you right. I could be out here dogging these, but I'm not. And you should care about yourself. Come here. This part right here for the ladies. Let me talk to you real quick, homegirl. You are a woman. You know what that means? We are emotional creatures, okay? We don't operate like men. It is not the same. Oh, it's a double standard. Unfortunately, yes, it is. We just gonna have to live with that. But because you're a woman, you cannot allow everybody in your temple. You are a sacred space. And every time you let somebody enter you just because, babes, you are taking on unnecessary energy, and then you wondering why you over here losing your mind. You're being bipolar. You're experiencing mental health problems, and you can't get your mind right. Whenever we choose to take on or let someone enter us, we take on that energy, and we take on whatever they're carrying. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed, but it can be transferred. Go ahead. I had to get, me and you, we had to get into it real quick. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. I'm gonna tell you like it is. Because guess what? I can do that because I'm speaking from experience. I get it. We all done had our little phases. But
My God, pull yourself together.
Sorry about that. I had to talk to my homegirl on the side over here. She be acting a fool sometimes. I tell her to keep that keep it together. Back to y'all. It's not cute thinking just because you got a whole bunch of ladies on your roster. Them girls know you low worth too, because they know that they can get whatever they want from out of you. And you know what? They're gonna walk you like a dog.
Walk 'em like a dog. sis, walk 'em like a dog.
Oh, he's a simp. But be a simp for the right person. Don't just be out here giving it to anybody, because you should have high value of yourself as well. We need to stop perpetuating this constant cycle of handing it out like it's candy. You should not be wanting to share yourself with everybody, because not everybody is worth sharing with.
Message.
I know they say sharing is caring, but babes, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. Now I'm sorry. I had to get in between y'all butt crack. And I know some of y'all might be feeling a little froggy. If you feel a little froggy, you can jump at me in the comments. That's fine. But guess what? That means I'm doing something right. Love you. Back to the topic at hand though. Now, anima is typically represented by the moon, aka Venus. And then you have animus, which is represented by the sun, aka Mars. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Are you picking up what I'm putting down right now? Well, the moon represents your emotional phases, and Venus represents love and beauty, which is why anima is the feminine energy. Animus is represented by the Mars and the sun represents your drive, ego, and pride. And then your Mars, it represents strength, energy, and action, which is why it's considered the masculine energy. Do you have a better understanding of masculine and feminine energy now? I hope you do. And if you're still a little lost, you got endless information at your fingertips. But you want to scroll on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook all day. You better go look up something, because it's too much knowledge out here that's free. And you still don't know nothing. I told y'all, in the comments, I'm not sugarcoating nothing around here. I love you. Say it back. Say it back. Are you okay? You good? Did you pause, take a breather, come back? All right. Well, let's move on to stage number 3, Citrinatus. It's actually pronounced Citrinitas. Now, honestly, this is my personal favorite. Partially why I chose this, because it's giving the hood Miss Frizzle. Yeah. Citrinatus. Can you take a gander on what that means? What does it sound like? Citrinatus, citrus. Yeah, there you go. You so smart. You're just so smart. I love how smart you are. I'm still gonna tell you. Now, Citrinatus is Latin for the yellow wing. Now, this is also known in alchemy as the stage of xanthosis, also known as the chemical wedding between anima and animus, aka that masculine and feminine energy. This is the stage where you determine what is no longer necessary. And now it's time to enmesh all of that hard work that you've done into a new phase. This phase is actually represented by the phoenix. Yeah. Hood Miss Frizzle. You are now like a phoenix that is rising up from the ashes. You're becoming more confident in yourself. You're ready to go out into the world, and you have a new light about you. You're now more in tune with your soul light, your solar light. And what I thought was interesting about this is that, do you know what else correlates to the color yellow? You know why it's called soul light, aka your solar light? This is also the 3rd stage. You know what else is number 3? Your solar plexus chakra. Isn't that such a cool correlation? Your solar plexus chakra, like I said, is your 3rd chakra, which is also represented by the color yellow. The yellow wing, xanthosis. This is actually the stage where you begin to also recognize your higher self. You're able to tap in with wisdom from the source. But this does not happen overnight, babes. I'm gonna tell you right now, I know you're excited, but you're gonna have to go through stages 1 and 2 a couple times before you really start connecting with that higher self. I mean, when you go through it the first couple times, when you hit up Dark Night of the Soul the first few times, it's a little hard for you to recognize, you know, because you're so busy shedding, you know, like a dog in the summertime. Fur is everywhere. And once you begin to shed those beliefs quite a few times, because Healing is not linear, it is cyclical. Because life is not linear, life is cyclical, which is why they use the term the circle of life. And it's not from point A to point B. I don't want you to get your hopes up thinking, oh my God, I can't wait to. I know I'm making this sound really sweet and fun, but when you're going through it, I can tell you right now, it's your solar plexus chakra. Now this chakra is responsible for your inner wisdom, your confidence, your ability to shine. This is something that a lot of us, we don't even realize that we've been dimmed. When you begin these stages, you don't realize how much hate has been thrown on us, because you know what? You know how as adults now we're looking at the kids and you look at a certain child and you're like, dang, I know that kid is going places. Imagine how many people saw you in that same light as a child, but because they didn't like that, aka there's some haters, they knew that you were gonna outgrow them at some point. They had to speak negativity on your life. This is where that soul light it's dim now, gets covered by all types of ashes and soot and negative thoughts and negative intentions and haters and all this, just a bunch of junky stuff. Tacky, actually, because why would you not want to see your own child succeed? It's giving jealous. It's giving, I didn't live my life right. Do better. And if you're a parent, please be mindful of the words that you speak into your children, okay? Think about how you grew up as a child. Think about the things that were said to you as a child. Become that phoenix that rises from the ashes. Keyword, the ashes, which means you're going to have to burn first, okay? But I believe in you, and I know you can do it. Welcome to stage 4, rubedo. Now this is the reddening, Latin for the reddening, aka the purpling, aka iosis. This is the stage that they just tried to jump to right after Negredo and Albedo, and they just tried to jump straight to rubedo. But remember, citrinatus is a crucial. It's crucial. You just can't skip that stage. Rubedo is considered to be a culmination of all of the 4 stages. This is the stage where you incorporate self and ego. Now this is the rebirth stage. This is the stage where you reach a point of wholeness. Rubedo is not permanent either. None of this is permanent. Like I said, it's all of this is cyclical. You're gonna reach a point of wholeness for a time. You know what I mean? It might be a short amount of time. It might be a long amount of time. It could last years. It could last a few days. It could last a few months. But at some point, you begin to feel a sense of wholeness, which is good, which is really great. But then there's gonna be something that comes in your life that's gonna cause you to shed another layer, which is gonna bring you right back to Negredo. Listen, talk about this later. I'm in the middle of something. I don't need you here right now. Thank you. Sorry. Like I stated earlier, you are the phoenix that rose from the ashes. Now, this is transmutation, baby. You've transmuted. Even if it was just a little bit, you did it. Congratulations. This is also referred to as transcendence. You've transcended a part of yourself. You've transcended yourself into a new level. Like I said, it's multiple levels. It's like, what Meek Mill say? Levels to the shit, levels to the shit, can't fuck my hoe. Death and rebirth. Death and rebirth.
Death and rebirth.
If that's one thing I want you to get through your head, is death and rebirth. You're going to die and you're going to be born again. You're going to die again to be born again. And then you're going to die again. And then you're going to be born again. Babes, it's a never-ending cycle. But the thing that matters the most is that you are constantly up-leveling yourself. It's beauty in that. Once you get through that dark night of the soul quite a few times, you done spun a block, you and him done spun a block, y'all toxic AF, but guess what? You love each other and you're gonna keep coming back. You can't get rid of this man.
You can't get rid of me, bitch!
Rubedo is just, I feel like you just learn to have lesser of an internal conflict with yourself. You're learning your ego. You're becoming friends with your ego. You're becoming friends with your higher self. You can make better decisions from a wiser point of view. Let me tell you something. Life has a funny way of trying to get you to understand the lesson if you're not getting it the first time. It's gonna keep sending you the same thing. AKA, you might meet the same person just in a different body. You're not learning what you're supposed to learn. So God is gonna send you the same exact thing. It might look a little different, but it's the same thing. And don't be surprised and don't take it personal. Change your perspective. Just ask yourself, okay, so I feel like I went through this before already, but what am I not getting? You learn to be more gentle with yourself. You learn how to talk with yourself again. Like, you're not saying, oh my God, I'm such a dumbass, or why would I do that? Your inner self-talk, it changes. The connotation changes. Whether you recognize it or not, that internal dialogue actually reflects a lot to how you were spoken to as a child. Now that you're old enough, you have the power to change that. Don't be one of these people out here, oh, well, I was raised that way, so I'm gonna just be like this for the rest of my life. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I can't stand when somebody's like that. Why are you acting like that? Nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying that you can't change. Because you're the only person that's holding a gun to your head making it seem like you can't change. Yes, you can. Do better. No, I just stepped on some more toes. I know I did. I just know I did. It's okay. I love you. Say it back. Since this is the final stage in transmutation, rubedo also means the purpling. Do you know what this also correlates with? Your 7th and final chakra, your crown chakra, which is also represented by purple or violet. Not only have you expanded your mindset, but you've expanded your mind as a whole. You don't operate the same. You're gonna think differently. You're gonna talk differently. You're gonna act differently. You're gonna carry yourself differently. You're not gonna take the same things you used to take a year ago. You're not gonna take the same things you took a week ago. The only constant in life is change. So adapt accordingly. Don't try to fight it, just adapt. This also directly correlates with these 7 stages of alchemy, because transmutation only breaks down 4. But there are 7 stages in total in alchemy. You wanna know what's also funny about this number 7? There are 7 days in a week. You have 7 chakras. It took God 7 days to create the earth. And there are 7 circles in the seed of life. This is the symbol for transmutation and alchemy. You know what that black shape is on the inside? It's called the Merkaba. The Merkaba represents light, spirit, and body. Listen, when I tell y'all everything is connected, everything is connected. But we're not gonna get into that. If y'all do want a lesson on sacred geometry, just let me know, because I will be more than happy to break this stuff down for y'all. But congratulations, you have made it through the 4 stages of transmutation. How does it feel? Good, right? I know. Remember, it's cyclical, not linear. Not from point A to B. You gotta, yeah. When does transmutation happen? Or AKA, what exactly triggers this dark night of the soul that really gets this snowball, this ball rolling? Life-altering events. You could be diagnosed with a life-threatening illness that might make you question everything. A birth in the family, or a death in the family, a breakup or a divorce. Personal experience, I want to say my first official, because I've had many in my childhood, but I want to say my first significant dark night of the soul was triggered by a breakup. Feeling forsaken. When you just get to a point in your life, you're like, what the hell is going on? I feel like nothing's working out for me. I don't know what's going on at this point. You just feel like you've been left out. Something you can't explain happens to you. That's when God has to step in. And a lot of people don't want to admit this, but sometimes when there's a certain trigger event that happens in your life, he's trying to tell you that you've strayed too far off of your path.
Hey, little boy, my chocolate must be untouched by human hands.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up.
Life will test your spirit, but God will test your hearts. Don't fail these tests, because sometimes it can feel really crucial. But I need you to carry on. We're humans. We're not perfect. We're gonna stray from the path, okay? It happens. Don't expect yourself to be perfect, but it's about what's in your heart. Nigga, why is all of this important? Okay, why is transmutation important? Short answer, to create a better world. It could really be that simple. Now for the nitty-gritty version, transmuting your mind, your body, your soul, your heart, and your spirit not only allows you to understand yourself better and the laws of the universe better, but it also allows you to hold space for others. As you become more aware of yourself and what's going on around you, you'll be able to recognize certain spirits in other people, because you're not so crowded with your own negative internal dialogue anymore. You can hold space for other people. You don't hold them accountable. It's not your job to hold somebody else accountable. It's their job. They have to do that at the end of the day. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it. The only person you can hold accountable is yourself. And trust me, that's just as good. And don't be judging nobody either, because it's not your place to judge. Then you begin to understand that perpetual cycle of hurt people hurt people. You're no longer operating unconsciously. You're now operating consciously, all the while you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. Until you make your unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Hey, you're not hearing me though. Let that sit right there for a second. Let it marinate. How to transmute and how is this beneficial? Shadow work. Go to Google and look up some shadow work prompts, or you can also head over to S.L.I.M Academy's Instagram page and I will leave some prompts there for you. And take your time. Don't lie to yourself. Don't do that. Be honest with yourself, because guess what? It ain't nobody but you and you. Who you lying for? Journaling is also a good way to work on yourself. And sometimes you don't even know what you're writing about. But when you start writing, sometimes all you have to do is just pick up the pen and the paper and start writing. You'll be surprised what comes out. Meditation. And meditation is not just that. Meditation is a plethora of things, okay? Sometimes meditation is you taking those late night drives. You're just listening to music, because sometimes the music will talk to you. Certain lyrics will stick out more than others. Meditation is you taking a walk in the park, working out, because it's just you and yourself and your mind and your thoughts. And a big misconception about meditation is that you're supposed to quiet your mind. Don't try to do that. Don't do that, because you'll frustrate yourself. You will frustrate yourself into oblivion. Meditation is letting your thoughts flow and listening to the ones that come to you. Yeah? So try that. Changing your perspective. Don't constantly ask yourself, why is this happening to me? No, ask yourself, why is this happening for me? Look at it as an opportunity for expansion and healing. Yeah, somebody broke your heart. All right, cool. But be accountable. Why did you allow this person to come into your life? Because 9 times out of 10, you saw those red flags. You saw those red flags. You just chose to ignore them. I ain't the pot calling the kettle black, because I be seeing red flags too, but oh, I want to be Captain Save-A-Ho. Can't do that. Stop doing that. Drop that victim mentality. Drop it. Holding a grudge is just like a form of stress. You're only stressing yourself out. They don't care. They don't care. Because guess what? They gonna go on living their life. And guess what? You're not gonna be the first person they did it to, and you're not gonna be the last. You are accountable for your own feelings. As much as you don't want to hear that, it's the truth. You're accountable for your own feelings. You cannot hold other people accountable. And learn to forgive. Forgive for yourself. Because 9 times out of 10, if you tell somebody that, hey, I forgive you, they're gonna try to come in and do the same shit just to see if you change it all mentally. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Stay to yourself. Internal reconstruction. I know all of these steps that I just gave you is much easier said than done. It's not easy. I've had to go through this. And it's not easy. It's not fun. But over time, my perspective slowly began to change because it caused me to have to look at myself and what's going on internally, because you're going to attract exactly who you are. It's just that simple. And a lot of people don't want to admit that, but I'll admit it to you. You'll attract exactly who you are. So if you get something you don't like, maybe you should take a look in the mirror. The quote that I would like to leave you guys with is from Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I have no doubt that a burning desire has devious ways of transmuting itself into its physical equivalents. Keyword, desire. You have to want this for yourself. To be honest, external motivation is a scam. Don't expect people to constantly give you a pat on the back. You're not a child anymore. We're not kids anymore. We're adults. We're whole grown adults. Start being more accountable. You're not gonna get it by sitting around the house all day and scrolling and gossiping. It's only lowering you. Where is it getting you? Talking about somebody else? They still out here doing the damn thing. They still out here on their shit, minding their business, leveling up. But you talking about them, actually you're doing that person a favor. You're only bringing them more clout. Meanwhile, you and your little fan club over here sitting around chatting it up, but ain't getting nowhere. And they're wondering why you still stuck, and that person that you was just talking shit about is light years ahead of you. And y'all was in the same position at one point. What's the difference? We both got the same 24 hours in a day. Do something with it. I just stepped on your toes again. I know, I don't care. I'm doing this because I love y'all. And I want to see better for us in our community. Okay? I love you. Say it back. Yeah. But thank you all so much for joining me here today at S.L.I.M Academy. That concludes our lesson. I pray that you receive this information, you take it, and you run with it. If anything that I said today piqued your interest, go look it up. I encourage you to look it up. Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. But listen, if you enjoyed this lesson today, don't forget to like, share this video if you feel like somebody else needs to hear this. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on class, on these gems that I'm dropping on it. And as always, it is what it is, it was what it was, and it will be what it will be. And in life, we may not get it right, but we're gonna try anyway, okay? And y'all have a blessed rest of y'all day. Bye.